And he has a new book out that we're talking about, but he also brought along a videographer, I think I got that word right, and also a writer or an editor, Daniel Lefebvre. Did I get that one right, Daniel Lefebvre?
You sure did, Mike.
All right, so what is your job in life? You're a pretty young man. What do you do for a living?
Well, I actually work at United Health. I work in insurance, and it's kind of a boring thing, but mostly I spend my time getting involved with unusual individuals and going on strange adventures and studying space, time, and all that sort of stuff, as well as a lot of running and drawing, that sort of thing.
Drawing?
Drawing, yes.
Okay. Now, do you work for an insurance company then?
I do.
I mean, are you like the guy that says that somebody's going to die at this time if they are male Caucasian? What is that called?
Why do you need?
No, the last I read was 79. The average male Caucasian dies by the age of 79.
Oh man. No.
And no, I'm close to that, and so I'm wondering
I thought you were 99.
No. What's that called when they figure all that stuff out?
Lying. It's lying.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to lie on this show, that's for sure. So you're helping Pete in which way?
So with this book, I did the cover. I organized it for print. I put it out on all the outlets, so Google, Amazon. A lot of editing.
Oh, how do you know what to edit?
If it seems like nonsense, it's got to stay. Because that's the truth. If it seems like
He said it's not fiction.
Right.
He said that.
Pete did?
Yeah.
When?
At the beginning of the show, he said this is not a fiction.
You know, you guys are not helping me.
No, I mean, like this book in itself, you have to have a background in a certain number of things to begin to understand it. Like, so you have to study like ancient civilizations, aliens, anything esoteric, and Pete touches on all the different topics with it. So you really have to, you either have to have a background or you have to want to know things that you didn't know before reading it. And it's a very eye-opening and enlightening book. I mean,
well,
I think this copy's for you.
Oh.
Are you a big reader?
I read all the time. I have a Kindle, and I use Amazon, and I'm constantly buying book. I buy book at least once a week.
Nice. Did you buy this one yet?
I had first time I've seen it. Peter J. Meile, PhD. No, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm anxious to have that copy autographed and put with all the books that I have that autographed by the authors that will sit in one place, and when I'm dead and gone, they'll say, oh, what are these for? I'll give them to the hospital for their book fair. But I save them because I like to reread some of them, and I certainly am going to read your book, Peter. So you go to work every day and do your insurance thing, and then you do some research.
He's also a martial arts teacher.
You are?
Well, I was. I'm not any longer. That's actually how I ended up in insurance. I was a martial arts instructor for about 4 years, and then I kind of got out of that because I was just spending all my time teaching and training, so it was like 12 hours of martial arts every day, and I just kind of decided I need to expand in a few other ways, and I had gotten into remodeling, and then the fella who I had worked for, he had his business kind of like trail off, and so he's like, well, I can't afford to keep you on anymore, so I'm like, okay. And I had to find a job, so I got a job in insurance. And during that time, I was actually unemployed for a couple of months. And so he and I worked like every morning on this project. Like we'd get up, meet at like 6 a.m. or something.
Well, where did you guys meet?
We actually met at Starbucks. I worked at a Starbucks when I was about 19, and he came in. And I don't know, like he was just kind of a weird customer.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah, watch out for that guy.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I knew, I had heard that he had like traveled a little bit, and so he came up and I was helping him at the register, and he was like, we were just conversing, and I was like, yeah, I want to learn about India. And he was like, oh yeah, I've been to India. And I was like, I want to learn about old India. And he said, what did you say? And he sounded like, have you ever seen him when he gets intense like that?
Oh yeah.
What did you say? And then from there we just started a friendship, and we actually reconnected a couple of years ago, and he was working on this project, or actually about a year ago. And he was working on this project, and he needed a cover, and he's like, I was like, well, let me, I have a background in graphic design, so let me do the cover.
Well,
and
you're a man of many talents. Did you ever beat the crap out of somebody because you're so well?
No.
They teach you to be peaceful, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole martial art that I practiced was called Huarengo, so I'm going to do just a plug for them. Huarengo, South Minneapolis, 54th and Nicollet, Diamond Lake Road. Check it out, beautiful place. So the whole premise behind the martial art I practiced was, personal development through the martial arts. So you can become very skilled at harming people, but the mentality and the spirit and the energy of it is not that way. So no, I never really got into too many fights with people. Actually, when I started martial arts, I was kind of like I wouldn't say like a tough guy or anything. I just like was a little bit like edgy or a little bit like, kind of violent or whatever maybe. But
Kind of violent.
But through martial arts, like I just developed more of a love for people than anything else, and I just was like, that's stupid. I don't want to think that way or be that way, and so.
Well, Daniel Lefebvre, my guest here, Pete's my guest, but Dan came along because he's involved with a book called Aliens. Do you think that you could have taken Pete when Pete was at his prime?
Pete is a Marine.
Yeah,
A
I know.
skilled Marine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Dan comes from a family of Marines.
Yeah, I do actually. My cousin is a Marine. All my uncle's a Marine.
His
My dad's
father was a Marine.
Yeah. I probably should have been in the Marines, but my dad was like, "You don't want to go into the military. Trust me.
No.
Don't go. You go do something else."
Well, was your dad a Marine during the Vietnam conflict, or is he?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Did he tell you any stories?
Not so much. He's opened up about it more in recent years, but he didn't like to talk about it for a lot of years. So he's pretty much been tight-lipped about it. He has pictures and things like that I've looked into. He has an album of like going through basic. He was on the West Coast, so I think they call it like Hollywood Marine or something like that. 'Cause he was
Well,
out in
did he go to
California.
Nam?
He did. Yeah.
You were in Nam.
Yes.
You were in prison.
Not in Nam, though.
No, but you were in prison. You
Yes.
had that experience too.
Yeah, I was in, I've been in probably half a dozen prisons in the United States, maybe 7 jails. I was in jail in Pakistan, I was in prison in Lebanon, and I was in jail in Morocco. I mean, if that's what you're asking.
I love your stories. I think
But
they're interesting.
But I have an
We gotta
academic
put-
background.
we have an
I have
hour.
an Associate of Arts, I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree, and a PhD.
So what's a PhD in?
PhD is in metaphysics.
In metaphysics?
Yes, metaphysics and anthropology.
And where do you go to school for a doctorate in that?
And metaphysics.
Yeah, or whatever your PhD is in.
It's in Sacramento.
The capital of California.
Yeah.
Something went on there recently in Sacramento.
Lots of things go on
Yeah.
in Sacramento.
Do you like California?
I love California. I love the girls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're still chasing women?
No, they chase me.
Oh, okay.
And it's a good thing I'm as short as I am because they don't see that far down.
Yeah. Anyhow, Pete Meile, the author, is with me this morning on the Wayne Eddy Affair. We'll talk more about your book, Peter, but at 12 minutes before 10 o'clock, I like to chit-chat with individuals and what are they up to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you if you would swing that mic over so Mark can get on it, because I want to, he doesn't need the headsets, I don't think.
Swing.
But you can wear them and feel important. Oops.
Steer.
All right, we have
Stick
2
steer.
cameras going. I don't know how many cameras you got going, but you dropped one on the floor. But Mark, lean into that mic or bring it to you, actually. All right?
Feels good, feels good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So, Mark Holdridge, right?
Holdridge, H-O-L-D.
Holdridge.
Yes.
Holdridge. And he said you were with Google. Now, how can you be with Google in Minnesota? You're supposed to be out in the valley,
I
aren't
shoot
you?
the interiors of businesses. So when most businesses have a listing on Google Maps, I shoot the interiors of the businesses. But I do a lot of virtual tours of other places, and that's had me traveling a lot over the years.
Well, tell us about that a little bit.
A lot of Nicaragua and Costa Rica.
Were you scared in Nicaragua?
No,
Why not?
it's beautiful, nice people. I mean,
How long ago was that?
I've been going 15 years annually.
Uh-huh.
And Nicaragua, it's been 3 years since I've been there. It's a little they're going through some things.
Yeah, that's what
Yep,
I meant.
yep.
Well, would this be like the thing you can Google a neighborhood and you can zone in on your own home, or you can look up a business and take a view of as a car is traveling down.
Right, right.
So that's what you do, but on the interior of businesses.
Yes.
Do they buy that or request it?
Yes. Yeah, they request it as they're building their listing, and then I'll get a ping along with maybe another photographer, and we'll call the business and head in with our cameras.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then they pay Google to have Google put it up on their website?
That's right. The business will pay the photographer
Okay.
to put the photography on their business listing. That's what I
Okay.
do. Yeah, I could do the station today.
Yeah, well, so KYMN Radio is going to get a freebie.
That's right.
And
Let's do it.
you remember, did you notice I asked you to be sure to get the logo in?
I'll do a close up there, and the logo on the desk outside.
Yeah, and then don't forget Jesse James.
And this cool statue that you're gonna interview someone who built that.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
with a chainsaw.
Wow.
And do you know what Northfield is known for?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I do a lot of historical research too, so I've worked on Northfield as well.
Okay, what have you done?
Well, decorating bars and restaurants. I did the cowboy bars, and
The
so
cowboy bars.
Cowboy bars, cowboy Slims, cowboy Jacks. There's
I don't know.
20 some in the United States, and they wanted Western themed things. So we have some Jesse James and some Northfield bank
Oh.
robbery shots there, and along some other bars. But that's a chain that put the Northfield pictures in all their bars.
I've never heard of it. Is there?
Yeah.
Are there any in Minnesota? Or
Oh yeah, very popular.
Really?
Uptown Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, right next to the Target Center.
I'm not uptown and I'm not downtown anymore.
Well,
So-
that's what's there.
All right, the cowboy bars.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So where are you from?
South Minneapolis,
I know where that is.
born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did your folks do for a living?
My dad taught, and my mom, juvenile probation was her gig for many years.
Is that where she met Pete?
No. She's not that old.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I heard that.
she might have had him on the caseload. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You
So-
guys are not
so-
No,
helping
she'd
me.
have to be older.
You're not
than-
helping
she'd
me,
have to be
Mark.
older, much older than you.
Yeah. So did you go to, where'd you go to high school?
Southwest.
Southwest High
Yeah,
School?
Southwest High School, yes.
I guess I've never heard of that one.
Yeah,
Southwest.
Yeah.
I've heard of South, I've heard of North.
No, there's West as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did know that. And so, did you, were you an athlete? By the way, this
No.
show is, I interview people about who they are and where they're from and what
Oh,
they
very
do.
nice, yeah,
Because
yeah.
everybody's interesting.
No, entrepreneur all these years, advertising, promotions, and that's in this field here with what these guys are up to. A lot of videography, and what's next to you is and you don't know this, is a 180 camera. It's looking at you and it's looking
Oh.
at me, and I'll be posting it up. But it's a really interesting medium where it's two lenses that mimic the eyeballs that will make you feel like you're sitting in a studio.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
All right. I used to do TV when I was a younger man,
Uh-huh.
and the cameras were about
There was no
500
TV
times
when you
bigger
were
than
younger.
that.
Right. Look how tiny this guy is too.
Yeah. Is that a GoPro or
This
what do
is
they call it?
like a GoPro. It's the DJI Osmo. So it's new. It's got a lot of cool features. It's real similar to the GoPro 7. And then like that, the other one is that 180 view, but it also does the 360 view. So they're just miniature.
Are they waterproof?
Waterproof.
The 180 isn't.
And the
Okay.
180 isn't, but you can get a case and go underwater with that too.
How much does one of the?
400, 500.
Well, that's not bad.
No.
Not at all.
Nope.
And then you just hook it up to your computer and see what you shot.
Yeah, work it over and then put it out to the world.
So-
Or put it out live, which would be a nice feature in the station here, is broadcasting live as we are live on the radio, but we could throw it over to Facebook and YouTube as well live.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Streaming.
Yes.
All right, that's
Good
cool.
man.
So did you what did you do right after going to Northwest or Southwest?
Southwest. Advertising. So for 30 years I did the outdoor summer concert schedules in Minneapolis every year, and a lot of people
When you say
love
you
that
did
piece.
that, what does that mean?
Did that. I compiled all the concerts, and then I built a magazine around it, and so advertising went in it, and every year, the 1st of June, everybody, 30,000 people got the magazine. Direct mail, full color magazine, so it was fun to meet all the businesses over the years.
You know, I had a little newspaper back when I was involved in ownership here with this station, and I call it Radio Waves, and I would sell a package where you could have color if you wanted or plain.
Right.
And I'll tell you, after doing that for a year, it would have been a really good deal, except you have to babysit print.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you're doing is running back. I mean, in radio sales, you sell a package, write a commercial, get the okay,
Yeah.
and you're done.
And you run it again and again.
And in print, you got to, here's what I want. No, you better do it this way. No,
Yeah.
no, we're not open till 10, we're open till 9.
Right.
And on and on. And
I talked about that on the way here in the car. I said about my typos and hours and how boring it was to get the hours and the phone number correct and all that. Yeah.
We're going to take a brief break. We'll be back. We have 3 gentlemen in studio right here on KYMN.
Can I put Pete back in his
Family owned and operated business since 1961. With a huge
I wanna
list
get
of
you
trucks,
involved.
used
I wasn't
vehicles,
warned.
and Service department second
I have
to
no
none.
idea what to
Paul
talk
and his
about.
staff want to invite everyone to Kenyon this weekend
How
for
you
the
do
Kenyon
get
Road
People
Fest.
sit down
And
at
stop into the Meile Peterson
9
Ford
o'clock
check
and
out
they
the new
say,
Ford Ranger
what are we
trucks.
going to talk
They have
about for
in
2
stock
hours?
and
And at 11 o'clock
then
they
you
go,
can check
holy
out the
cow,
free
that went
Shelby
fast.
Mustang
Yeah,
And I
that's
say,
right.
can you come back?
Including a beautiful
I mean,
and rare
Al Kui I
red
had on
GT
6 times,
350R.
12 hours.
Come to Kenyon this
And we
weekend,
never got to
enjoy the
him
Kenyon
being
Rose
governor.
Fest, and stop in
Just
the showroom
talking
at
about
Al
those
Kui, I
license
remember
plates.
him, yeah.
Yeah, he was our
Home,
governor.
Auto and life are important to you. That's why the Northfield Insurance
We're going to just
Agency
have about
works hard to
3
provide
minutes
you
and we
with the
could
right
do a little
protection.
news
Kevin
break.
and Stan offer the products you need and the premier service you deserve. They carry business, auto, farm, homeowners, commercial, and bonds. Northfield Insurance is your independent agent, and they're connected with...
We're back on the Wayne Eddy Affair on a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we have a fellow by the name of Pete Meile, an author, in studio right now. We're talking about his book called The Aliens, and Pete has been on my show on many different occasions, and a very interesting guy. We went through your boot camp, and we went through Vietnam, and we went to India, we went to Africa, and I haven't talked to you on my show here for about a year, I think it is. And I wanted to hear about your exploits in the last year or so when you were sending me the postcards of these beautiful temples and other beautiful geographical locations.
Did I ever tell you about the Ganges Dragonway?
Can you tell me in 2 minutes and
No.
36 seconds? Okay, we'll do that after the news
Sure.
coming up. So, but for the next 2 minutes, where was your last visit in regards to coming back to the United States from where, when? Your last one?
The last time I came into the United States was a year ago from India.
Okay.
But before that, I was in the pictures that I showed you was in Mali and Timbuktu, and
Tell me about Timbuktu. Why do I want to, from here to Timbuktu, isn't there some
Well,
Second World War
Timbuktu
story?
Timbuktu became famous in the 15th century because the Muslims, they had a salt mine in Mauritania, and they would bring in 400-pound blocks on camels of salt to this desert town in Mali, Africa. And Mali had a lot of gold and diamonds. And the natives, you know, they can't eat gold and they can't eat the diamonds. It doesn't do them any good, you know. So they traded 400-pound blocks of salt for 400 pounds of gold. And they did this by the tons. And so they built, the Arabs built a lot of structures there. They built a university there called the University of Timbuktu, and that is why Timbuktu became famous. How it got its name, this place in the desert that I learned when I was in Timbuktu, was that the water in the language at that time in Timbuktu was called Tim, and the slave that gave the water to the camels and the camel drivers from Mauritania was called Buktu. So,
Timbuktu, from here to Timbuktu. That was a song or a marching thing for during the Second World War, I believe. Google it.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I'm not that old guy, man.
Okay, we are going to take a break on KYMN 1080 Radio Northfield. excuse